Thanks so much, Barris. It's a pleasure to be here. Great to see some familiar faces here on the panel with me as well, and extremely excited about the book launch. So, as you mentioned, my name is Marcel, and I help agencies run more profitably. And you might recognize me from the Agency Profit podcast, from SaaS Academy, where I'm head strategic coach, or from some of the work that we've done over at Goldfront with brands like Uber, Nike, Adobe, etc. But what I want to share with you today is really the brass tacks of what it means to make money as an agency, because the reality is that most agencies are suffering from indigestion, not starvation. They just happen to feel the same. And what I would like to give you is a strategic framework that will allow you to put everything you learned today from all the other speakers into context and understand which of the three levers that strategy is pulling that makes your business more or less successful. So I'm going to skip through a lot of stuff and start with the most basic conversation, which is, how does an agency make money? And of course, this is simple. If you run a business, you would know that it's about trying to bring in more money than you're spending. But there are a couple of things that you might not be able to see on your profit and loss statement that I would implore you after you leave here today to dig into the book, dig into some of the blogs that we have on our website, and get this sorted out on your profit and loss statement. And the first is your agency gross income. You might be able to see this today, likely on your profit and loss statement. This is what your accountant is calling gross profit or gross margin, which is kind of misleading. But essentially what this measures is how much of the revenue that comes into your business is actually your responsibility to earn. And we do that calculation by removing what we call pass-through expenses. So that would be examples like paid advertising spend, print budgets. Maybe you have white label partners that you hire to outsource things to, money that flows outside of your agency that's somebody else's responsibility to earn. So you want to make absolutely sure that you can measure your AGI. And we want to be doing all the calculations on our efficiency based on that. Now, the next thing you want to be able to measure is your delivery cost. And for most of you, you're probably not able to see this without doing some math in your profit and loss statement. Your delivery cost measures what it costs you to get work done for clients. So if a client pays you $50,000 for a website, what does it cost you to get the website done? That's truly the gross margin of your business, or delivery margin, as we like to call it, mostly because we're tired of arguing with accountants about the semantics of language, and we prefer to focus the conversation on the important metrics that you should be measuring. So delivery cost is mostly the payroll of the team that's doing work for clients, and usually 4 to 6% of your agency gross income is going to be tied up in things we like to call shared delivery expenses, like Figma, Adobe Creative Cloud, other tools that your team might need to use to do work for clients. So we want to isolate delivery costs, and the delta between these two things is what we call your delivery margin. And we generally want to have a delivery margin of 50% or more so that we can then go and spend money on overhead, usually between 20 and 30% of our agency gross income, and still have a profit left over of anywhere from 20 to 30% or more. So the challenge that I see a lot of agencies have is they can't see this number. All they can see is the bottom line. And so they tend to focus on overhead spending and decreasing that and squeezing it as a way to improve their profitability. And the reality is, out of 10 agencies that we audit, almost none of them are overspending on overhead. Most of them have a delivery margin problem. They are spending too much money to earn their revenue, or the amount of delivery costs that they bear in the agency is not profitable enough or not productive enough. So there are three essential ways to improve your delivery margin. If we think about the formula for this, it's AGI minus delivery cost divided by AGI. So if you think about this, there's two ways to improve this. You can keep your delivery costs the same, meaning keep the same team that you have now, and improve the amount of AGI that they can earn with their time, or you can focus on decreasing your delivery cost. And there are only three ways that you can move this number. The first is by lowering your average cost per hour. Quite simply, that means find less expensive people to do the same stuff you're doing today. That's simple, but of course it's not easy. Usually this is a long-term process, and it involves deepening your expertise, solidifying and maturing your processes so that less judgment is required to deliver something to a client. Less judgment typically means less experience is required. Less experience typically correlates with lower cost for that person. And over time, what you can start to do is take things that maybe a senior resource had to do before, and through good documentation, training, process, tooling, etc., start to lower the level of seniority that's required and balance the team to be more focused on junior employees with just enough senior employees, etc. So at scale, this can have an impact, but it's not a very fun way to try and improve our profitability, just trying to lower our costs. So what I'm more focused on is improving our AGI. How do we get more out of the people that we already have on the team? And there's two ways to do that. Average billable rate, which measures for each hour that your team works on client stuff, on average, how much money do they bring into the business? That's a function of how much you charge. So you'll hear lots of strategies today about closing more sales, being more efficient in the sales process, generating more leads, or having better sales conversations, better pricing conversations. All of those things can get you into a position where you're asking for more money for the same deliverable. But the flip side of that, which is often overlooked, is finding ways to decrease the amount of time it takes you to complete a deliverable. Therefore, the same team can produce more of those deliverables in a given period of time, thereby increasing the amount of revenue they earn on average for each hour that they work. And lastly, utilization, which is of all the capacity that you purchase in bulk from your team, how much of it is used to actually get stuff done for clients. And of course, optimizing those two metrics is what's going to lead your business to a higher delivery margin, which ultimately sets the foundation for the profitability of your business. So of course, we don't have time today. I don't think, Barris, I don't think I have a lot more time to talk about this, but a lot of the details on exactly how we calculate these things, what the benchmarks are, more tactical methodologies for improving these metrics are going to be in the book. And there's more resources linked in the book that we've written on our blog and so forth to really allow you to create some mastery around these metrics. And the objective here is that you can essentially measure 80% of what you need to know in the business by focusing on 4 metrics: delivery margin and the 3 levers that influence it. So with that, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the sessions. And again, this hopefully will give you a framework to understand, that thing that this speaker talked about, that's going to help me move this, or it's going to help me move this, and really understand which levers to focus on and how to prioritize those based on where you are in your business.
Beautiful. Marcel, thank you so much. I mean, you squeezed all that in, I think, like 6 or 7 minutes. And I think people are going to be rewinding and watching again and again and again. But just to remind everybody, all these sessions, all the speakers that you see today in front of you, they are in the Agency Growth book. And the book will be sent to everyone by email tonight. So feel free to read it. If you want to reach out to Marcel, you can find him on the platform. You can reach out to him, or you can write to him directly from within the book. And I'm sure he'll be happy to reply to any questions you might have. Marcel, thank you so much for the delivery.